Back to football. Deion Sanders making waves. His son Shedeur is expected to be a top prospect in next year's draft, and their two-way star corner and wide receiver Travis Hunter also should be a high pick. Listen to how Deion says he plans to approach the draft process for those two players.
Where do you predict Shedeur and Travis going in the draft?
Top 4.
That's pretty beautiful.
Anywhere from 1 through 4. One of them is going to be 1. The latter one would not go behind 4. Now, all this is subjective because I know where I want them to go. So there's certain cities that ain't gonna happen. It's gonna
Okay,
be a
you on
Peyton
point.
Manning. It's gonna be it's gonna be an Eli.
Okay, super interesting and important stuff there from Deion Sanders. And as I said yesterday, I believe he is signaling the beginning of a new era in football. Not that every player is going to be in a position to do this. Almost no players are in a position to do this. But that rare few, that high-profile quarterback, Caleb Williams falling into that category, maybe Shedeur Sanders falling into that category, pulling in Eli, which we all understand what that means. Mike T., you're a former general manager. I see this becoming something we see in the NFL much more regularly starting now.
It's a possibility, but you have to be of the echelon of those two players at University of Colorado. Shedeur Sanders, to me, is the presumptive #1 pick in a year, just from a standpoint. He can do the difficult things really, really well, Greeny. He has incredible touch, accuracy, anticipation. Now, look, he has to get stronger and bigger, which I think he will, but the hard parts of playing quarterback, he does exceptionally well with really no offensive line. So he can get away with it the way Eli Manning did, the way Deion, alluded to that. But that is such few and far between. Even there was some noise about could Caleb Williams say no to Chicago. I don't think Caleb Williams could pull that off. So it is few and far between, but Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, those two really are the exception to the rule.
Well, they can try, but just live in a world here again. You've been this person. You were a general manager. You have the first pick in the draft. You want to take Shedeur Sanders. Deion calls you and says, don't take my son. He's not coming. What do?
I start meeting with him, recruiting him, and I try to win him over. I don't want to be in a situation where I draft him and he doesn't show up because, Greeny, it's a fascinating discussion. With NIL money now, he could sit out the year. The economics have changed. So if I don't have buy-in now where I know he's coming, I probably would trade him, as reluctant as that is. And I think Deion's making a fascinating point. For certain players like the ones he's talking about, they have leverage that didn't exist years before.
Booger, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree slightly. If we're talking about the rare prospect, the guy, let's say Andrew Luck, somebody that's generational, yeah, absolutely. They can dictate based on who they are. But when we're talking about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, I'm not sure the quarterback is there yet. I think the better prospect is Travis Hunter as a corner or wide receiver, whichever one you want to put him at. I think he's going to be the top corner in the draft, assuming he has a really good year next season. So I think we have to be very careful of saying almost that the players are going to start to run the National Football League and decide where teams and general managers pick them. This is still, and Bart will recognize this, big bank always take little bank. All right, big bank always wins in the National Football League, and the owners have all the money. So they're not going to let the players start to dictate to them based on parents or coaches or things like that. I think we better be very, very careful because although the players are the commodity, they need the NFL and they need the owners, which have all the money, which is what the players want. So we better be careful right there.
What do you think, Bud?
I mean, I love Prime, right? And I smile because I remember Shedeur and Shiloh running around the locker room when he was a member of the Baltimore Ravens. So it's good to see them mature and become, who they've become. This is, I think, is an outlier situation because it's about pedigree, right? You talk about what Eli Manning was able to do. This because the Manning family, the Manning brand, right? And they have so many, how much money as far as NIL deals. But NIL deal $4.4 million, which I think that's what Shedeur has, isn't $50 million guaranteed in marketing. I would love to hear Deion make that list for me so I can know what organizations that he thinks is so bad that his kids shouldn't go there, or even Travis Hunter shouldn't.
But Bart, let me push back on you. I agree. I would love to hear which teams he doesn't want his son to go to. But let me push back on you for a minute. What is to stop a player from just saying it? Doesn't matter if his father is Deion Sanders or Archie Manning or Fred Johnson. Right. If he just says, "Look, don't draft my son." Now the team at Mike T just said it. He's got a tough position to be in.
What are you going to do? Not show up?
Well, no, probably not. But now that's a game of chicken that you've got, and you've got your first pick in the draft that you're kind of living in that world with.
We have a finite time to really play this sport at a high level before age catches in. If a guy says, "I'm going to go back to school," and he gets injured, then you talk about losing millions and millions of dollars and never being the number one pick overall. We play 100% sport where it's 100% injury. So I think whenever you can get to the money, you get to the bag, because there's no saying that every play can be your last play in the NFL.
Yeah, look, I don't think there's anything that obviously stops them from threatening it. Mike T, give me a very quick final thought. Go.
Yeah, the paradigm has shifted because certain players like those two have enough money where they could sit out a year, and they have leverage that, again, didn't exist a number of years ago.
Yeah, they don't even have to sit out a year. They just have to threaten to sit out a year, and the conversation
I'm gonna call that bluff.
Is on. We'll see what happens.
Give me something.